mm.
Did you ever get into a childhood fist fight with a friend? What happens after good friends fight? Physically, like physically fight. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Homemade. I'm Shannon Cason. My old neighborhood was competitive. All the kids on the block, we were competitive as boys, like riding our bikes. Everything was a competition. Like who was the fastest, who's the strongest, who's the smartest, who's the best with girls. That was a part of it too. Um, this kid named on the block, he wasn't that much older than us. T. Hayes. T. Hayes was an older kid on the block, just a little bit older than us, but he would put together an obstacle course in his backyard to decide the ranking of the kids on the block. And this was a full on obstacle course. It had like races, it had wrestling, it had cognitive tests, like maybe we played chess or checkers or something like that. So it had all this, and all of us would compete. And T. Hayes would decide on who was number one, who was number two, and so on. I was picked as number two. And it was a guy named Nate. He was stronger than everybody. Nate was I would probably beat him in the cognitive stuff, but Nate was strong. He was the same size as me. And even as a kid, he was always just super duper strong. I mean, like Nate was crazy strong. In high school, he was lifting like 500 pounds. I think he was lifting 495, like 5 plates on each side. This is in high school. So even as a kid, when we were 12 years old, he was strong. But he was number one. So I was number two. And Nate really got in his head. He got the big head that he was number one. Who cares what T. Hayes thinks? I love you, T. Hayes. You know what I'm saying? You're an interesting guy. But who cares what T. Hayes thinks? But Nate got the big head with it. Now, I grew up, I lived with my grandmother. All the kids on the block, all of us pretty much live with our grandmother. Our family lived with our grandmother. So at my grandmother's house, I would have my cousins come in and out. And one of my cousins was staying with us at the time, my older cousin, Kevin. Now, Kevin is 6 years older than me. 6 years is a lot. Like when I'm 12 and he's 6 years older, he's 18 years old. He like a grown man. And Kevin was good with girls. So he would tell me his stories about girls and I would listen to him. Kevin is a tough dude. He can fight, like he's a fighter. He beat people ass, and so he was teaching me some beating ass techniques and how to fight. And we would spar a lot in the basement or in the backyard of the house. My dad was also teaching me some boxing skills, so I was learning, the basics on how to fight and how to protect myself. Because people really can't fight when you think about it. Like if you see people fight, like normal people just go fight, they can't fight. They throwing fists indiscriminately every single where, trying to throw the strongest blows to hit somebody and turning themselves around. So if somebody has any basic level skill of fighting, like real fighting, like protecting themselves, ducking the chin, making sure you stay guarded, throwing jabs and also actual crosses and uppercuts, really you can get your ass whooped by somebody who got some training. So I was getting that basic training that I needed to whoop an ass in the future. So as kids, Nate got the big head because he number one and I'm number two. And we out playing one day, and I don't know, Nate get the bright idea just to punch me in the stomach. For no good reason, just punch me in the stomach. And I remember this clearly because it hurt. You ever get punched in the stomach and you weren't expecting it? The shit hurts. So he punches me in the stomach, knock all the wind out of me. And I'm sitting there like, why you punch me in the stomach? And I'm a pretty mild-mannered dude now and then. I'm always mild-mannered. But if you taunt me, if you piss me off, it's a switch. And I'm kind of scared of the switch sometimes because I get to this point like I really don't care anymore. Whatever happens, happens. So I tell Nate, we fighting. We gotta fight. You didn't punch me in the stomach for no reason, just because you think you're number one. We fight. So it was a house that was for sale on the block. This is in Ecorse. I lived in Ecorse, which is a suburb right outside of Detroit, but even Detroiters look down on Ecorse. Ecorse is like everybody. Yeah, I love Ecorse, but that's where I grew up from. But the Ecorse, it isn't the suburb that you're thinking of. You know what I'm saying? Ecorse is a very hardworking city, small suburb outside of Detroit, right next to River Ridge. Ecorse is Southwest Detroit. So on my block, it was a house that was up for sale, and nobody was in the house. So we go to that backyard so me and Nate can have this fight. Number one and number two. And the whole block figures it out, and all the kids from the block come in the backyard, even some of the grown-ups, you know what I'm saying, who didn't care, they want to see a good fight. So we in the backyard and we about to fight. Now I had been getting this training from my cousin Kevin and my dad. So I had a little training in me. And when we square up the fight, I had these combinations that I would do that they were teaching me. It was like jab, step into my jab, like double up my jab, and then come over with that right hand. So jab, right hand. And when you throw the right hand, my dad would tell me the power comes from my feet. So I had to twist my waist to throw that punch. And when I do that, the power would connect. And to my surprise, all of it connected. I did the jab, both jabs hit Nate, and then I do that right, and the right hit Nate. And all the kids they going crazy in the backyard. Shannon, number two is coming for number one. I'm coming for the number one spot. So they going crazy. The grown-ups, everybody who back there, the bad grown-ups, why they ain't stopping the fight, but grown-ups, kids, they all in the backyard, they're going crazy. So they reset it, like everybody, they break it up for a second, and then they reset us, me and Nate, and I do the same exact combination. Jab, right. Jab, right. Hit Nate again. Another, and the crowd going crazy. Oh, we got a new number one. They going crazy, and it does feel good. I ain't gonna front. It feel good. So they reset us again, and this time I knew Nate wouldn't go for that same combination. Like I would have to do something new. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm gonna do jab, and uppercut because he's gonna duck this next time. So we in and I go jab, and then Nate ducks, and I throw an uppercut, and I hit Nate with the uppercut, but with the uppercut, I bring Nate back up. And Nate, like I say, he a big kid. He is strong. He probably was lifting 225 as a 12-year-old because he was lifting 500 as a teenager. So I hit him with that uppercut. He comes up, and then we grab each other. And we're holding each other like in a kind of a bear hug. Like we're just holding each other. And one of Nate's arms slips out of the bear hug, and he hits me in the face. And he didn't even have full power, like, because he couldn't. All it was just his hand coming down. But them big old paws, he hit me, and all I remember was seeing lights. Like it was like a flash of light. It was like actual fireworks. When you see that on like the TV show, and it'd be fireworks and Batman, boom, pow. It was just like that. Really, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to fight anymore after Nate hit me. So he actually wanted to, but everybody saw me do the jab, right, the jab, right, and the jab, uppercut. So everybody was saying that I won the fight. But by that time, they had broke it up. But Nate hit me so hard that I didn't want to fight anymore anyway. So I go home, And of course, I don't tell my parents that I got in a fight. I don't tell my grandma, my mom, my sister. I don't tell anybody that. I just kind of like get the dirty clothes and put them away and change my clothes and don't tell anybody anything. And later that day, Nate knocks on my door. So I come to the door. I'm like, I really don't want a rematch. I do not want a rematch with Nate, but Nate comes to the door in peace. He's by himself. And I come outside and Nate says, good fight, man. That was a good fight. And I tell Nate that I had been practicing with my cousin and my dad was teaching me some moves. And he was telling me that, you really you really can fight now. You really can fight. And I remember we were sitting, leaning against my grandma's El Dorado, and we were just talking. And we never had problems after that. Me and Nate remained friends all through high school. And it was always a mutual respect because we had that fight as kids and we never fought again. We never had any problems again. And we always had mutual respect for one another. And I talked to Nate about a month ago and it was the same respect. Nate, he's working now. I believe he got a new wife or an old wife. I don't know, but I know he married and still live in the same neighborhood. And much respect to Nate. I appreciate it. And sometimes a little fight just shows respect. It lets everybody know that there should be some respect for one another. All right. Okay. I did a show with WBZ Chicago called The Trouble. And this is where I talk to people in trouble. And I wanted to do something similar to that for this new format for Homemade. But I want to go into like the grittier stories, the true crime. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts and I want to kind of give my entry to that. Some of these might be true crime. Some of them might be interviews. Some of them might be scandals, but it all be people dealing with trouble on whatever topic we talk about for this week. Today we're talking about Friends. I'm a true fan of true crime and scandal podcasts. So this is a segment to scratch that itch. I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Trouble With. How well do we truly know our friends? And what are the signs to indicate that the friendship has turned toxic? Let's talk about it on this week's The Trouble.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
The trouble with being the third best friend. She was only 16, bright, sharp, full of sass and laughter. Skylar Neese was the kind of teenager who tweeted her thoughts in real time, spent hours watching shows like Pretty Little Liars, and had two best friends that she told everything. Her parents said she was independent, headstrong, and always spoke her mind. A typical teenage girl with a typical teenage life in Star City, West Virginia. But on July 6, 2012, Skylar Neese disappeared. Security footage from her apartment complex showed her sneaking out of her bedroom window just after midnight. A car pulled up, she climbed in, and this was the last time she was seen alive. For months, her family, her school, the entire town were in agony. Posters were taped to light poles, Facebook groups were launched, prayers were said at vigils. Her friends Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy cried publicly, gave interviews, and helped pass out flyers. But something was off. And that's their pictures right there, Rachel with the red hair and Sheila a little taller there. Rachel and Sheila had been Skylar's best friends since middle school. They were inseparable. A trio always seen laughing in the hallways and taking selfies together. But in the months before Skylar vanished, things began to shift. Skylar started feeling left out. Her last tweets hinted at a betrayal, cryptic, angry outbursts, like, "You doing shit like that is why I can never completely trust you." And People can be so mean for absolutely no reason. That was some of her tweets. She knew something was happening. She didn't know how dark it really was. As the investigation deepened, so did the cracks in the girls' stories. Eventually, nearly 6 months after Skylar disappeared, Rachel Schoaf broke. On January 3rd, 2013, Rachel walked into the police station with a secret so cold it didn't seem real. We stabbed her. Rachel and Sheila had picked Skylar up that night just as they planned, and they drove her to a remote spot in the woods across the Pennsylvania state line, a place they had been before to hang out and smoke weed. They laughed, they talked, pretending everything was fine. Then, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, they attacked her, each with a kitchen knife, stabbing her over and over again. Skylar managed to run, but they caught her. She fought hard, she begged, but they kept stabbing. When Skylar stopped moving, they stood over her and watched her breathe and bleed out. They buried her under branches and dirt. Then they bathed together in a nearby creek, got rid of the evidence, and went on about their lives. They had killed their best friend for no good reason. Later, when asked by investigators, Rachel's answer was chilling. We didn't like her anymore. The truth broke something in the town. They weren't strangers or troubled kids from some distant place. They were honor students, cheerleaders, girls with futures and college plans. Sheila even tweeted, "Rest easy, Skylar. You'll always be my best friend," while knowing what she had done. The backlash was immediate. People were shocked, horrified. Parents looked at their own children differently. How could this happen? What went so wrong? Rachel Schoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison with the possibility of parole in 10 years. Sheila Eddy pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and received life in prison, and eligible for parole in 15 years. They're both serving time now in separate facilities. But the story doesn't end there. It never does. Skylar's murder changed laws in West Virginia and inspired Skylar's Law, which requires immediate public notification when a child is reported missing, even if there's no evidence of abduction. And then there's another part, the obsession. Even now, this case draws intense attention online. People dig through the old tweets, they analyze the photos, they romanticize the crime, just like I am now, I suppose. This was a trio friendship that turned deadly, a trust so deeply betrayed that it shook a community, a country, to its core. Skylar never saw it coming. And that's what makes the story stay with you. Not just the violence, but it's that Skylar never saw it coming. The betrayal wore the face of a friend. It was a vicious story. Being that third friend in a relationship, in like a friendship relationship, and it goes wrong. Everybody has the experience of being that third friend, like the jealousy of the third friend. But it's amazing how these kids took it to that degree of killing their friend. Now, there's been some friends in my life where the breakup with the friend, I almost considered it divine in some way, like it was meant to be. Not to say that they were bad kids. I might have been divine on their part, them to go their way and me to go my way. But you have to be able to walk away from friendships sometimes. It's just one of them things, like to learn from this. And you got to have that intuition to feel it sometimes. Not saying anything was Skylar's fault at all, but just trying to get something out of this tragic situation. I want to put Skylar's picture up here and say, rest in peace to Skylar. Beautiful young lady. Look at her. Beautiful young lady who didn't get a chance to live her life fully. But that's the trouble with being the third friend. All right, make sure you like and subscribe to Shannon Cason Homemade on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow at Shannon Cason on all social media, Instagram, Twitter. More and more stories over there too. Join the Patreon. Support the stories. Be a friend at patreon.com/Shannon Cason. Make sure you join the conversation in the comments. What did you think about this tragic, terrible story? Had you heard that story before, or was that your first time hearing it? Were you ever a third best friend? Did you ever have friends that you broke up with and you kind of felt like it was a divine breakup? Tell me about that. And then later in the episode, I'm going to talk to one of my oldest best friends if they pick up the phone. So wait around for that. Okay, no idea. This segment is like an attempt to quench my curiosities. I love new knowledge. I love information. I listen to a lot of informational podcasts. If it's Lex Friedman or Joe Scott or all them Star Trek, I think it's called, or whatever, the one with the astrophysicist guy. I listen to those kind of podcasts because I like to learn just random information. But this is my side of that because I have no idea about a lot of stuff. But this will give me a chance to research some stuff so we can learn some new stuff together, so no idea. So my question is, what kind of friends are you surrounded by? Which ones are you missing from your life? And most importantly, what kind of friend are you? I'm talking to you. What kind of friend are you?
What's the capital I am? I don't know that. Keeping it real.
All right, so this is no idea. I have no idea about the different types of friendship. So we're going to talk about it. We throw around the word friend like it's a one-size-fits-all. But the ancient Greeks like to break it down. Friendship comes in all different types and forms and layers. And really, these are the Greek words for love. But love and friendship go hand in hand. Love and friendship are closely tied together. I remember back when I was in church, we would have our Bibles and it would be like, go to the Greek Bible. We would go to a Greek to learn like words, and because different words, Greeks have different words for the same word that we might use in English. So we go break this down and you might recognize a few of these. And which ones do you relate to? Let's talk about it. One of the words for love, Greek words for love or friendship, we'll go with friendship, is ludus. Ludus, which is playful friendship. This is the friend that makes you laugh, keeps things light. It's all games and fun and jokes and teasing. You might not call them at 3 a.m. during a crisis, but these are your regular Tuesday memorable friends. Just friendships that remind us that not everything has to be so serious. And this reminds me of my early childhood friends. My friends from school and college. Like, we like to call them associates that I keep things light with, that I just have surface conversations with. And I like those kind of friends. You can always crack jokes and have a good time with those friends. Another type of friendship is eros. Eros. That's romantic friendship or romantic love. When desire meets connection, you get eros. It's attraction, chemistry, maybe a little chaos. Eros blurs the line between friendship and romance. Sometimes it involves something longer lasting. but sometimes it burns out fast. But either way, it usually changes everything. Most of my Eros friendships, like relationships that start with the Eros kind of feel or vibe, they burn quick. Like it's a quick burn, and then it's no longer ongoing. It's just like a fleeting thing, like a Instagram like every now and again. Like these Eros relationships is the orgasm and it's done. Basically, you know what I'm saying? There's no substance to those Eros relationships because I'm a substance type of person. I kind of like to know you better than just that Eros feeling. But this is that's one type of friendship. Then you got Storge. Storge is familiar friendship. This love is quiet, steady, built over time. It's the friend you've known since elementary school, the cousin who's more like a sibling. Storge is love that feels safe, uncomplicated until it's gone. And I think I have a lot of Storge friendships. I mean, I think of cousins. Like I even think of my old hip hop crew. 31. We back when we were in Detroit, because it's like a family love when we see each other. Like I saw DJ House Shoes not too long ago at a Dilla event. Now I don't even talk to House Shoes that much. We see each other online, but when I saw him, it was just like a immediate familiarity with knowing each other from way back when in the past. So I feel like Storge, that uncomplicated, just safe relationship. Many marriages fall into Storge too, I would imagine. But that's Storge. Then you have Pragma. Pragma is an enduring love. Enduring love. Pragma is a slow burn. It's a long haul friendship built on loyalty, shared goals, and time. Your childhood friend that you still talk to, a coworker who became a confidant. Pragma isn't flashy, but it's the one that you can count on through every season. I may have been wrong. Pragma may be more like that marriage friendship, that marriage love, or the coworker who you always look out for, even outside of work. Those older friends that you have, kind of like mentor friendships. That makes me think of the Pragma. Slow burn. It's solid, but it's a slow burn. Then you got Philotia. Philotia is self-love. And this can go two ways. Healthy Philotia is self-confidence and self-respect. Toxic Philotia is narcissism and ego. So it's all about balance, loving yourself so you can love others better. I think I have a lot of Philotia. I'm doing a solo podcast right now. You know what I'm saying? I like to spend time with myself. I enjoy my own company. So I think I'm pretty good on the Philotia side. I don't know if I'm too negative with it, but I know I have a lot of Philotia. Another one would be toxic friendship. That's not on the list here, but I have it on my list. So toxic friendship, when a friendship is not a friendship at all. And let's be honest, some of the friendships we have are like this, like friendships that feel like emotional labor. They're built on guilt, competition, and control. You walk away from every interaction drained. Recognizing toxic connections is hard, but it's necessary because real friendship shouldn't feel like survival. If your friendship is feeling like survival, maybe you need to walk away from that friendship. It makes me think of the story of Sheila and Skylar and Rachel. That was a toxic friendship. Whenever I have one-upism in my friendship, or even in like any kind of relationships, I hate that kind of feeling where we gotta always, we can compete and be competitive, but friendly competition, not I gotta outdo you in every way. I don't like those kind of friendships, or the friendships where I know they have an agenda and they want something from me. I live long enough that I can kind of feel the red flags, but or somebody playing you behind their back or behind your back and talking about you behind your back, any chance they get, which kind of stems from a jealousy and envy. I stay away from those type of friends, or I try to break it off as soon as I can, even without even, I don't even tell them the reason why. I just kind of like, yeah, I'm not dealing with you anymore. Another type of friendship is mania. Mania. Now, this is the dangerous side of friendship or love, rooted in insecurity, codependence, obsession, when boundaries blur and jealousy reigns. Mania can destroy relationships. When I see mania, I try to create some distance, and I'm not gonna lie. I used to kind of like mania because I like attention. I like, I'm a Leo. I like people have an interest in me, but at the same time, I know with that mania attention, it can switch fast. So it can change from like a love, and then it can switch to that same mania on the hate. And I've had those kind of red flags before, and I'm not going to say too much because they might watch this show, but I just try to kind of create some distance from those mania relationships. Another one is philia. Philia. This is deep friendship. Philia is the gold standard. And these are rare, beautiful friendships built on trust, respect, and love of character. There's no jealousy, no hidden agenda, just mutual care and an ability to grow side by side. Philia is the friend that you can sit in silence with and you can still feel heard. I think that's the friendship that we all want one day. If you got a friend in that philia place, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you should be grateful for that, and you should be thankful for that. I think of like road trips without even saying too many words and just respecting one another, like serious respect, where you really care about the person and you wouldn't do anything to disrespect them. I think that'd be a beautiful thing. Even to have philia in a relationship, I think would be a beautiful thing. And the last one I have here is agape. Agape friendship, agape love. This is selfless and universal love. This is love without condition, the kindness that's shown to strangers, the deep empathy that fuels community work. You may not even know the person well, but you show up anyway. Agape friendships remind us that love it isn't always about like knowing and all that kind of stuff. It's a human experience. I think even in the human side, in my mind, I see agape as like a spiritual love. It's like a love from that's comes from the spirit. When I think of agape, I remember I was at an event. This lady Jennifer Hickson. She actually a friend of Homemade, and we were watching something on TV, and it was some people in another country who were having challenges, and she started crying looking at the TV, and I'm like, I can't watch this. And that's what I kind of see as that agape, like that whole, I was watching it, I'm just like watching the news story, but she was touched. Like it was too heavy for her. She had to walk away. So I can see that type of love being a special kind of love. Now, when you think of all these types, agape, philia, philotia, pragma, when you think of all these, like what do you fall in line with? What kind of friend are you? What mix of friends do you have in your life right now? Let's talk about it. Talk about it in the comments. Let's ask questions about it. I want more of these. What was that? Filet. I want some of those filet friends. Filet fish. I want some filet friends. But share any stories that come to mind in the comments. And that's all the types of friendship, all the types of love and friendship.
What up there?
What up, though?
Man, I'm cool.
Hey,
I'm cool.
hey, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, no problem.
We've been friends a long time,
Yeah.
over 40 years.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
How did we stay friends for that long?
Because we're some cool ass motherfuckers. That's all. And I had to say that to you. And I'm going to leave it at that.
We keep it cool, right?
Yep.
That's basically it, man. I think a part of it too. We keep our own space. I'm
Yeah.
asking you this because I'm doing my next episode on friendships, but I'm talking about broken friendships too, like people who kind of break up as friends and stuff. But me and you, like I've had broken friendships, but me and you always stay solid, and it is with some cool motherfuckers. But
We
at the
be
same
laughing.
time, huh?
Dog, you told me about 3 weeks ago something funny. I said, damn, Shannon said something funny. And you made me laugh for 3 weeks. You said something 3 weeks ago, and you made me feel good for the next 3 weeks, brother.
You silly.
And I ain't gonna sit there. So you said something so funny. I said, man, you wasn't playing.
No, but even in the times that we we get upset or whatever, we kind of like
Yeah.
let it slide, and after a while, it's kind of like I don't know, it's like a family relationship after a while. You might take time and it might be a month before we speak to each other, but it's always in love. It's always
Always. I
yeah,
mean, it's brothers, bro.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
That's
do
a
you
blessing.
remember back in the day? T. Hayes would put the rankings of the kids, like number
Okay, can
one,
I
number
say something?
two.
Guess who I talked to today?
I don't
For
know.
like 15. T. Hayes.
Oh, you
We
talk
was
to T.
cra-
Hayes all the time, but you remember he used to set it up as
Yes,
you remember that?
I remember it all.
You remember do you remember this? Let me see if you remember this. You remember me and Nate got in a fight?
Yeah. Bro, that's what T. Hayes talked about today.
But do
But
you remember that though, me and Nate?
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Who won that fight?
You did. Who can laugh at that?
No, I had been practicing. But that
It's
was
not
funny
funny.
because
You don't even
Nate
understand
was
when all
number
that was
one.
going on.
Nate
My
was number
sister, my
one.
sister, my sister had the nerve to talk about. She said, "I remember, you know what I'm saying, when Nate and Shannon fought." She told me this about a month ago. I said, well, "Why are you bringing it up?" She said, "But Shannon wasn't thinking about that."
No, but I'm just bringing it up. Nate is my man. I talked to Nate not too
Yeah.
long ago, but I just was
Mhm.
talking about it on the podcast. But I just wanted to kind of like confirm that was what was happening. But it wasn't
But
really
it
no big
happened.
time fight. It was just me and Nate
But it
kind of gaining
wasn't.
the respect for one another after that.
I remember.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah, but we always had respect for one another. We never really got into any fist fights or nothing like that. We always just kind of respected one another, and we was always super creative together. And I think that was
cool.
one of the biggest things with me and you is always big into the creativity. Because in my mind, you always one of the most creative people I know, to be honest
But
with
no,
you.
I wasn't trying to be like that, bro. I wasn't trying to be like that, bro.
But I'm just saying, you one of the most creative people I know. Ain't nothing wrong with me
Okay,
saying that.
okay, well, thank you, sir, for telling me that. I have to accept that. See, God telling me, I have to accept that. Okay, I accept that.
Hey, I was just checking in with you, man. Just trying to
I
get some.
love you, man.
All right, love you too, bro.
All right, brother.
All right, yeah.
See you.
All right, so that's Beej. Beej, um, from the Beej and them fame, Dilla, Welcome to Detroit, Slum Village albums, but also Beej been uh, work with Master Ace, work with a lot of different artists over time. But Beej is he's still a star in my eyes, but we've been friends over 40 years and we stay friends. We don't hang all the time, but at the same time, we always keep in touch with each other, find out what each other's doing. So I appreciate Beej for always being my friend. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we're gonna end it like that. throw this back up here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like the show. Like it. That helps me in the YouTube algorithm. Help me out. So like the show. Subscribe. Be a friend. Leave a comment below. Follow me at Shannon Cason on all the social media. Grow my social media a little bit. Then join the Patreon. Become a friend of Homemade at patreon.com/Shannon Cason. And if you're interested in workshops, speaking engagements, I speak at schools. I done that just a couple months ago. I spoke at a university, and I tell you which university. Which university was it? Damn, what is it called? So I spoke at many universities. I spoke at Kutztown University. I spoke at U of M. I spoke at Governor State University. That was the last one I went to on the south side of Chicago. So make sure you go into shannoncason.com, speaking engagements, workshops, any merch. Stay in touch with me, shannoncason.com, and I'll see you soon. All right, peace. Thank you for being a part of this. I appreciate you. All right.
Now that's homemade.